we're going to move on to the night 20, the final championship night, which was only featured 2 5-star Grand Prix matches, and that first one was Hanan versus Iida, 2 very young, 18 and 25, but 2 very women very young in their careers are taking this match. And I will say this: I enjoyed this match, but I will say I did notice the lack of, how do I say this? The lack of fluidity between the two of them due to their inexperience, because you can see times where they were like pausing, trying to figure out what to do next, but it wasn't like they were like going for like 5-6 seconds. It was like just it was an extra couple seconds more than most do. That's the thing, and you could kind of see the inexperience. But I thought really good match from the two of them. Again, like I said earlier with Iida, again, greatest hits for her, but again, she's young. She's going to hit greatest hits. It's going to be the similar matches from her every time. But again, she's still learning. She's still young. She's going to get better and better, and she's going to develop into, I think, a really good wrestler for Stardom, and I think a championship contender down the road. Hanan too. Like I think this girl is phenomenal, and her 2 little sisters are in this company too, in Rena and Hina. And I think the sky's the limit for this girl, because just some of the stuff they do, and like standing up to a forearm battle with Iida is one thing, because Hanan is like, both girls are small girls, but Iida's jacked as hell, and Hanan trying to pose. That was the other match, but like just getting beat up, but like coming back just as hard. It's impressive in my opinion. And then like Hanan reversing a brainbuster, and then Iida immediately reversing it into an Iidabashi pin, with Hanan immediately reversing out of the pin into a crucifix for herself for 2. I found very impressive transitions there, where that was a very, like, it shows the skill in them, that there wasn't like pause and there was just transition. It was really quick. But in the end, the Dominator. I wrote this really, really badly. Hanan hits like a Dominator slam, and then kind of a sloppy Famouser. It looked like it barely caught Iida, and then she followed up with what was a very actually nice V trigger, and then a British German to get the win. Which, like, for both these girls, again, late in the tournament in points, they're really needing that.
And I was very, very happy with this match. I know Hanan had been struggling in this tournament, especially. I had mentioned I was very disappointed that she hadn't been on like, it took her a very long time to get those first 2 points, and I think this was her third and fourth points coming out of the tournament. I'm very happy she didn't finish with a 0, just because she is the future of Stardom champion. It would have been really not a good look for her to come out of there without any points, regardless if it is her first kind of tournament. I think you're muted there, Andre. But just one more thing. I think that this was the match that I'd mentioned to you where I saw Iida do her Spinebuster, where she got completely airborne because of how little she is. And I thought
it looked like almost a spear coming down.
Into
a spear. Yeah.
I just thought it was so adorably powerful. Like, it's one of those things where you're like sitting there trying to like, oh, that was so tough, but oh, she's so cute. Look at her little feet coming off the ground.
I call her the little muscle girl for a reason.
What a match. But yes, this was a really good match. I was honestly surprised with the result. I did expect Iida to pick up a win over Hanan, but I was very happy that Hanan did get a few more points.
Yeah, and again, I'm not surprised seeing Hanan get the losses she has gotten, just due to the fact that she is very young, only a couple of years in, and it didn't surprise me. It really didn't. The fact that she got a couple of wins is great, and she didn't need it, even though she is the future Stardom champion. It's the future Stardom champion. She's a champion of the new girls, it doesn't hurt me to see the more experienced people beating her. It does to me.
100%.
Yeah. So from here, we are going to move on to the second and final 5-star Grand Prix match of the night. It is Starlight Kid versus Suzu Suzuki.
Whew. What a match this was, man. Starlight Kid, she's a fun one because she's like almost literally like a personification of like a little Mighty Mouse, because she's got the little tiger mask with the ears and everything, so she's already kind of got the get up. But like, what I love about her is she has such a loud mouth and she backs it up. She's one of those people who I feel is like almost like, I don't want to say cocky, but like she knows her skill and she knows she's good. And at the same time, you got Suzu Suzuki, who's, very young, but very experienced at what she
Yeah, I was
does.
so surprised with how young Suzu Suzuki is. Like
Yeah,
it's kind of insane. Like
it is.
Jesus.
But to see these two women tangle up, just the raw power of Suzu Suzuki. Again, I've made the remark that she's taken the Suzuki name. She's relishing in that just pain that she can put other people through, much like another Suzuki on NJPW. And I love it because, like, no offense to Minoru Suzuki, she's a little prettier to look at. Don't tell Minoru Suzuki that. He might kill me. But
Come on, he knows.
he was a stud in the 90s, though. Let's not lie.
Dude, look at it. I've seen the pictures of him as a young man. He's
I've
a very handsome man.
But Suzu Suzuki, again, just raw power. She was feeding it to Starlight Kid. And I almost felt a certain level of respect coming out of Starlight Kid. At the same time, like, attitude. Like, how dare you hit me that hard? But hey, you hit me that hard. It was almost like, could we see Prominence almost kind of hitching up with Oedo Tai in a similar way that Colors has with the Cosmic Angels?
Not.
I don't want that, but it would make sense for the attitude that they're saying they kind of similarly have.
Yeah.
Just because Prominence does only have like I think it's 4 members right now, but only the 2 are actively at Stardom. So I don't know. We'll kind of see how that kind of plays out.
I think they'll be fine on their own. Honestly, I don't think Suzu and Risa need anyone else because they've been dominant as hell through this entire tournament. I think they're fine on their own, and I could see them maybe making Prominence its own proper faction in the company, getting their own banner up on the wall at certain shows.
Would like to see.
I would love to see that.
That would be really cool. I would like to see them, obviously. I'm that person who likes to see the structure of the teams and be like, this person can chase this belt. These people can chase these belts. These people can chase these belts. I'd like to see them have enough members that they can hypothetically chase every belt in Stardom. But then again, like, look at Queen's Quest. They kind of only have, 5-6 members right now. They're a pretty decent sized team and they're doing pretty good for themselves. So, maybe you're right. They are good on their own. That being said, though, this match, I mean, Starlight Kid did her absolute best, but at the end of the match, she wasn't able to contend with the power that was Suzu Suzuki.
Yeah, Suzu ended up winning it with, if you go back to the days of TNA, and I can't remember his name now, but the Rolling Chaos there, the German suplex into a roll through into another German suplex with the bridge. Just impressive. I love that finisher. It's a classic finisher for me. And honestly, really great match. Just a power and just 20 years old. She's at the top of this block with 14 points, tied with about 5 or 6 other people. But the fact that she's 20 years old, very early in her career, and she's in the top of the block, the potential to win this block, a very high potential to win the Blue Stars block. It's impressive. Like, I think this girl's future, as long as she stays in Stardom, or I think her future, no matter where she goes, is going to be huge. But I think if she stays in Stardom, because I don't know if she's a full timer or not, being that she's with Prominence, who is an independent faction. I could see her really succeeding in this company and really being someone they push, especially how young she is. She's got years and years in front of her that she could lead this company as a strong heel or a strong baby face. Either or, I think she could do well with either. As like kind of like just a brutal face or like just a dastardly evil heel. I think either way, and by brutal I mean like just a like hitting people kind of
power,
like
absolute power.
Stone Cold style face, who's a badass but also is loved by everybody. I think she could do either. Honestly, I really do. So
100%.
So from here, we are going to go. We're going to step out of the 5-star Grand Prix for the rest of this show, and it was a Falls Count Anywhere fatal 4-way between Mayu Iwatani, Azumi, Maika, who on the right there, and then second from the raid, a person this is my first time seeing her wrestle, Ram Kaichow. I'm gonna say it's Kaicho. I'm gonna say Kaicho.
Kaicho, yeah.
Yeah, Ram Kaichow. And this is where the show really kicked into a weird position in the fact that we got this Falls Count Anywhere fatal 4-way, which included I think it was Maika riding a bike down the ramp but getting knocked off by Ram. And then actually at one point taking a bike and throwing it over the top rope at the three girls in the ring, who caught it, and then she springboard drop kicked it into them at one point. They were all fighting on the outside, went over to a plastic dome they all went inside of.
Like a bouncy castle.
Yeah. It didn't seem so bouncy, but more explodey, as all these balloons they kept smacking each other in the face with had this like white powder in it that kept screwing each other up. And they did this repeatedly for a bit. And then eventually they fight over to the door to go into the hallway of the venue. And they end up in the hallway. I think it was Maika taped Ram to this like cart, like a flatbed cart, and she tied her to the back of it as Azumi and Mayu Iwatani were fighting and fell onto an escalator. I was scared because you hear the stories of kids getting caught in escalators. I was scared that one of them might get caught in the escalator. I was like legitimately like, oh, please God, no. And then
all the dangly bits on their gear.
Yeah, and then Maika goes up the escalator after them. They get to the top, and like Ram is like positioned right at the bottom of the stairs.
Still trying to drag herself around with her feet.
And then at the top, Maika and Azumi are beating on Mayu, and then they both kick Mayu, and she just tumbles down the stairs.
This is that reckless disregard that I had mentioned to you about Iwatani earlier in our shows, that she seems to just have this complete disregard for her own safety and just wants to get that reaction. When I saw that, the first couple bumps, I was like, no, and then the rest of the stairs, I'm like, okay, you made this choice. You chose to take that bump.
It made me a little sick watching her roll down the stairs, because like it looked like her head just kept bouncing off steps, and I'm just like, oh.
And then really Maika taking the smart way and just carrying Azumi down the stairs.
They were both already walking down, kind of pushing at each other, and then Azumi slipped and fell on the stairs on her ass. And that's when Maika picked her up and carried her the rest of the way down. That was why she fell about a third of the way down. So Maika just picked her up. And I think she had white powder all over the bottom of her boots. And that's why I think it was turned up on the steps.
So and then Ram's thing, I don't know if you saw, she actually had like a container of it when they had a shot of them in the little castle. She was powdering everybody, including the ref.
The balloons, though, when they were
Oh, yeah, they were
popping,
filled with it
they were
also.
more coming. Well,
But
Ram
she
had it even
had, like,
earlier
a
on in the
makeup
ring.
container of makeup
Yeah.
where she was actually throwing it in people's faces, and there was
Yeah,
a
she
spot
actually
that
had it
went up
earlier in the ring too.
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
that. Yeah, it just but like when Mayu rolled down the ramp, she ended up landing on the cart that Ram was on. And then Maika brings her, like, carries Azumi down, throws her onto the cart, and she wheels the cart back in, has to go over this like hump in the covering the wires or something. She's like fighting it, just yanks it over. And Azumi almost fell off the cart. She's kind of like, you can see her holding on a little bit. It was quite funny, but then they bring it back to the ring, and this match was just pure utter chaos. I literally have like 2 pages of notes for this crazy match, and it's just that's when they get a ladder involved and they put it in the corner. And at one point, Suzu Suzuki, she's trying to climb it for some weird reason. She's going to do a moonsault, and then the two of them, Suzuki.
There's no Suzuki.
Yeah, Suzuki was climbing
There's
the
no
ladder.
Suzuki.
Oh no, sorry, Maika. Maika, I apologize. I'm sorry. They're so
No, it's fine. It's fine. Maika, yes.
Maika's climbing it in the corner, and then two of them just grab it and throw her down, and it was just, it's just pure like utter chaos. And I think in the end,
everyone but Maika won, didn't they?
Ram did it, like flipped over on Maika, and then Mayu flipped over on Ram, pinning her, like helping with the pin, and then Azumi pins Mayu. So the ref declares all 3 of them the winner, because technically Ram and Mayu didn't have their shoulders down. So it was them technically helping Ram hold Maika down, I guess, even though it was like literally a train of people. And you get 3 people technically getting the win in the match. I was like, it was just insanely confusing. Don't get me wrong, it's not the most confusing thing we watched on this show, but it was confusing.
It was a very, I would almost say, an organized Yano match, like a Yano match that made sense with tape.
I don't think Yano could come up with this.
No, but like I said, organized Yano.
I don't think Yano could. I think Yano could have a more organized match than this. That's how insane I thought. Like just to it all up. It was fun. I had a great time watching it, but nothing made sense. Literally, the last part of my notes was, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, I literally wrote down what is happening. So we're in the same boat on that.